This right here is a dead paper birch. You can see this little papery bark. That is an excellent fire starter. And that's how we're gonna get our tinder for our flint and steel. Gotta make really sure not to stick this in the snow though. Gotta keep all these snowflakes off our tinder. I'm gonna cut up this birch bark and try to get this really fine stuff for tinder. A nice little pile of dry bark. Oh, there we go. Whew, that is gonna go up quick. The heat from this is intense. It's hard to stand next to this thing. We've got to thaw the ground out. If we sleep on warm, dry ground, it'll make all the difference in the world. So I've got to build a massive fire, and I gotta keep it going for a long time. Check it out, we got a bunch of water right here. Can't sleep in that. Well, the fire's done a great job thawing the ground out and pushing the walls of the shelter back, but we're getting water pooling up here and here. Now, hopefully, once the ground gets a little more thawed, that water will just go straight down and won't be a problem. But if we can't get rid of that standing water, I'm gonna have to make a raised bed, and that's gonna be a lot of work. Well, I got a lot more wood cutting to do, but I'm gonna get it started on dinner. I'm gonna be making some baked beans. Got a bag of Great Northern beans here. Dump them in there. We're gonna let those beans simmer and soak for a couple hours while we work on our shelter. I'm gonna move the fire and see if the ground's drying up at all. Anything that's muddier. You see all the snow and ice that's melting is just draining straight down into this corner. And to a lesser extent, we got it going on over in this corner too. I'm hoping if I can dig little trenches on either side, then the water will go out this way and I can make the middle nice and dry so I have a place to sleep. We'll see what happens, but this is the problem in the wintertime. You really don't know what type of ground you're dealing with until you get it all shoveled out and thawed out. The ideal place to do this is like a gravel bar or a sand dune or a beach on a lake. But you don't always get what you want, so you just gotta adapt.
For a little savings, Specialist Miller buys in bulk. For a lot of savings, she bundles her home and auto insurance with USAA. Putting more money back in her pocket? That's what.
I want to make a platform to sleep on. And to do that, I need to get rid of all these little branches. I don't have an axe, and doing that with my knife will take forever. So I'm going to use the fire. There we go, dry ground. My little gutter trick seems to be working. We've got firm, dry ground right here. Yeah, all right, we're getting there. All right, got a little sleeping platform to keep me out of the mud, and it's a little bit softer than the ground. The wood bends a little bit. Got this just in case it starts to snow really bad tonight. I can throw my blanket over the top and use it like a tarp. Well, I think my beans are about done, and I've worked up quite an appetite, so I think it's time to make some dinner. Now, I know this is a survival video, but I have a very important rule I live by. I don't mind being cold, I don't mind sleeping on the ground, and I don't mind being hungry. But I only do one of those things at a time. So tonight, I'm eating like a king. Time to cut up some firewood. Nice and soft. Add a little pepper, add a little salt, add some ground mustard, some brown sugar, and tomato paste. Beans are almost done, so I'm going to go ahead and make some bread. I have this dough I made up last night. Take and wrap with a bit of cheese, a little bit of bread dough with that Gouda inside. Cooking bread on the coals is really easy. Either you make a disc and you lay it straight on the coals and flip it, or you make a ball and you bury it in the coals. A little bit of campfire ash that gets stuck to the bread tastes just like flour. Coming along nice. All right, we're gonna put that right on the coals. Just like the bread, the coals are gonna stick to it while it's rare. And once it's cooked, the coals will fall off. Yes, that is perfect. A little cheese-filled biscuit cooked in the oven. This bread dough is so easy to bring on winter campouts. You just tear off a piece and bake yourself some fresh bread whenever you're feeling like it. If you refrigerate it, it'll last 3-4 days without any problems. It just slowly becomes sourdough if you let it sit for too long. Oh, that bread was good. I'm gonna make some more of that. That is good prime rib. That is good. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. But it looks like it's going to be windy and cold tonight. The dinner was really good, but I am so thirsty. So I need to clean my pot out and start melting some snow, get some water.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening's presentation. Tonight, we explore a tale of forbidden love.
Well, the wind is really kicking up and it is getting cold and the sun's setting. And I don't have enough firewood to get me through the night, so I need to go start chopping some more wood.
But don't see for yourself what tragedy lies ahead when the paths of star-crossed lovers meet. And now, on with the show!
Well, there we go. That's a healthy pile of firewood. I got a bunch of tinder over here as well. This pine burns about 1 inch radius per hour. It's about a 2.5, 3 inch radius. So this piece of wood should last 3 hours in the fire. You need about 4 of these to have a fire. So I'm gonna burn up about 4 of these logs every 3 hours. So I have about 12 hours of firewood right there. Got my water. My socks are all sweaty. I'm gonna go ahead and try to dry my feet and boots off before I go to sleep. You got all the steam coming off my feet. Yeah, my socks are really wet. Makes such a difference. My feet are all dry. I got all my firewood. I think it's time to go to bed. I'm going to be waking up throughout the night to stoke the fire, so better get to bed sooner rather than later. But before I go to bed, I'm going to show you one. That is awesome. Now, if you're going to do this, you want to make sure you use a real wool blanket. If you did this with a synthetic blanket or a polyester blanket, it would melt and cause me all sorts of problems. Oh. That is nice and warm. I can feel the heat from the ground coming up through the bed. It is really nice. I'll tell you what, it is so toasty in here. I'm low enough that the snow berm is blocking the wind. I've got the heat from the ground coming up underneath me, and this fire is just baking me. But I'm gonna have to get up and stoke the fire several times throughout the night. So I better get going to bed. It's gonna be a long night. I'll see you in the morning. Oh, good morning. Well, there you go. I didn't freeze to death. I even got some sleep. Was it comfortable? Not particularly. Did I have to wake up a lot and stoke the fire? Yeah, but it's pretty warm in here. Oh, time to get up. Oh. Had a little bit of snow last night. And I woke up with these snowflakes hitting my face, which is really annoying when you're trying to sleep. I was able to pull my face under the blanket and stay dry. But my blanket's a little bit wet, so I think I better dry it out. All right, I think next step is to soak the fire up and get some coals going so we can make breakfast.
Natral melatonin promotes sleep in as little as 15 minutes. Natral.
Let me get this straight. You're saying Boost Mobile is now a major network?
Yes, but better, more affordable.
Yeah, write that down.
Oh. You're telling me the new Boost Mobile's got 5G towers?
Thousands and thousands, actually.
And we've also got nationwide coverage?
99% of the country.
Where's the 1%?
Your mom's house.
Stop bringing up my
And
mom.
we're proud to announce unlimited talk, text, and data starting at just $25 per month forever. Forever?
Forever.
Like forever?
Ever, ever.
All right, I think it's time to cook some breakfast. I got some leftover dough, some leftover pork jowl bacon, and a jar of honey and butter. I think we're gonna make something good. All right, I got honey and melted butter. All right, a little bit of pork jowl bacon here, honey butter. Fresh bread, slabs of bacon smothered in honey butter. This is nice. That is so good. I'll tell you what, guys, I've built a lot of lean-tos and bushcraft shelters, but hands down, the best way to stay warm is to build a big fire, clear out the snow, dry out the ground, then move the fire over and sleep on the warm ground. If you get really cold, you can switch places with the fire throughout the night. But unfortunately, you need to be able to make fire and you need access to a lot of firewood for this to work. And if you don't have that, there's another trick I've heard about. When I was a boy, my grandfather told me a story about a Native American woman in his community who got lost in the mountains. Crazy blizzard came in, dumped multiple feet of snow, deadly cold. And when this Native American woman realized that she was stuck in this blizzard, she found a tree, went under the branches, and went to sleep. And so what my grandpa told me is that you don't freeze to death without waking up at least once. And so when she'd wake up cold, instead of ignoring it and going back to sleep, she'd pop up and run around the tree until her blood was going and she was hot. And then she would go back under the tree, go back to sleep. Apparently after 2 days, the blizzard broke and the community went up into the mountains looking for her. And there they found her, and she'd just been running around this tree for 2 days. She was tired, miserable, and cold, but she was alive. But the more survival bushcraft camping trips I do, the more I realize that this survival stuff is really a lot of work. You're gonna have to push yourself for hours every day just to make it. If you're not willing to work hard, if you don't have that self-discipline, you're just not gonna get it done. But on that note, I think it's time to start packing up. Oh. Just blows me away how good of a job that fire does in clearing away the snow. It actually reminds me of the Donner Party. They had a fire pit like this and it snowed 15 feet on them. And the wall of their fire pit was so high that they had to carve stairs to be able to get in and out of the fire pit. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos like this, check out the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel. We put out new videos every Saturday morning and we have entire playlists of just our survival camping videos. All right guys, see you next Saturday morning. If you like this video, don't forget to check out the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel where we have hundreds of videos just like this. And don't forget to click subscribe so you can see other great videos every Saturday morning. And hit that bell button and you'll get notifications. Thanks for watching.
I'm a rusty old boat hitch, and I am barely hanging on. See ya. Ahoy! Forget Allstate.
over 14 million shelter pets fed and adopted. Science did that.
Luke here with the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, and I'm here in the woods of Alaska, and I'm going to be building the ultimate bunk bed bushcraft shelter. My 5-year-old son Jacob's going to be joining us. It's going to be a great time. We're going to eat good food, and you guys are going to enjoy this video. That's a footprint of a snowshoe hare right there. Those are snowshoe hare poop. And sure enough, there's a rabbit right over there. As long as I pretend like I can't see him, he is just gonna sit right there. There he is. Just stop to look back at me and see if I'm chasing him. If you ever scare up a rabbit, just be cool, and they'll usually stop right before they get out of sight to look back at you. All right, we got plenty of dead wood for our shelter and for a fire. I think this looks like a pretty good spot right here. I'm gonna build my shelter between these 3 dead trees. So I'm gonna need to chop down at least 12 to 15 dead trees. I need a little snack break because I got a very Alaskan lunch here. Okay, if you haven't spent a lot of time in the Alaskan bush, you might not be familiar with pilot bread. It's a shelf-stable cracker, kind of like a saltine with less salt, and it's one of the 4 basic food groups in the bush here in Alaska. Now, pilot bread is a little bit dry, so you need something to wash it down with, and for that, I like powdered tang. And if you go out in the bush and someone offers you orange juice and bread, there's a good chance you're gonna get this. Got some smoked wild-caught sockeye salmon to go with it. All right, I got a good pile of trees going here. I need to take all the limbs off them. To do that, I'm going to use a Japanese nata. This is like a hatchet with a chisel edge.
Work, play, and every day. Upgrade with over 1 million parts and accessories and bring your truck to life. Real Truck.
Sono pazza di
San Pellegrino 0 grams added sugar.
I've only been here for 3 hours and the sun's already setting. Oh, it gets dark so quick up here. All right, guys, here's my bag of lamps. About 5 pounds of just lights. We have 18 hours of darkness here, so you gotta bring a lot of lights and a lot of batteries. And this right here is my box of batteries. So I've got 16 GoPro batteries and a backup battery for my cell phone and for my GPS. That weighs another 5 pounds. So between camera batteries and camera lights, I've got about 10 pounds of gear I bring with me at a minimum on every one of these trips. I'm sure I'll find those in the spring. Well, I didn't get as much done as I was hoping, but the sun has set and I'm running on twilight. So I need to hurry up and get some firewood and gather up everything around the camp because it's gonna get really dark real quick. I brought along a couple caribou hides. The hairs of a caribou are hollow, so they make really good insulators. Alright, I'm getting hungry. I need to cook some dinner. Oh, that dry, dead pine goes up like gasoline. Oh, the temperature's dropped. I'm gonna bundle myself up a little bit. Oh. We're gonna have some hot tang. You know, cold tang is okay, but when you heat it up, it's like wassail or spiced oranges. It's actually really good. All right, guys, it's time for dinner, and I'm gonna be making something special. I'm roasting